The start of the new season, right? Blizzard made some adjustments. One of the adjustments that they made was to how your bonus experience from Nightmare Dungeons is calculated. Essentially, they want you doing higher level dungeons to get maximum bonuses. So it's 1.5% bonus experience per level up to 10 levels, right? So if you want max XP bonus, if you're level 85, you got to be killing mobs at level 95 for the 15% bonus XP, and then you get more experience from mobs after that. But you still just want to be killing, whatever's efficient for your current build and character. Where before the season, you just had to kill mobs that were +3 levels over your character level, and it would grant 25% experience. In addition to that, with this first season, there was a whole new set of Nightmare Dungeons that basically took over, right? So all the Nightmare Dungeons that we were running before, well, we're not running them anymore. The entire new set. So before the season started, I basically just no-life the Nightmare Dungeons a little bit, getting some data from them. We looked at obviously clear speed of the dungeons, layouts of the dungeons, mob types, are they good for glyph leveling, do you get good loot? Basically, they're just a good dungeon to run, and is it rewarding? So we came up with a little tier list for all the brand new Nightmare Dungeons for Season 1. This is what we came up with. And then in addition to that, we also have like the Nightmare Dungeon affixes that you want to avoid. So you still really don't want to run Lightning Storm, Disable Potion, obviously dangerous, Suppressor, even with the changes. Is still kind of annoying. Armor reduction, you definitely don't want more armor reduction, especially after they gutted our defense. Resource burn, your resources get nerfed a bunch. Cold enchanted is still deadly. Same thing with poison enchanted, but usually I'm fine running that. And then anything that just reduces your personal damage output, you want to avoid that. So if you're playing a crit build, if the dungeon suppresses your crits, you do less crit damage, you probably don't want to do it. If you're playing a cold build and it suppresses your cold damage, probably want to avoid it too. Nightmare Dungeon affixes, things to avoid, is still there also. And then with the new dungeon layouts, we just record all our data, clear speed, drop, stuff like that, and we came up with this new tier list. And we also got an infogram, so all this stuff is easy to look at. We had Older's Cave, which was like one of the best normal dungeons to farm, is now in the Nightmare Dungeon tier. So S tier, I would pretty much always run this thing no matter what. Sarah's Lair, this is basically Blind Burrows 2.0. Really nice linear layout, insane XP. You just run around the edge, kill spiders, and there's like a boss in the middle. Mercy's Reach, really good normal dungeon before, same exact thing. Extremely good. Dead Man's Dread, one of the dungeons in the Fractured Peaks. Super insane. Hoarfrost, same exact thing. And then Charno House. I actually thought about putting this in A tier, but overall it's a big dungeon. You get a lot of loot every single time I run it. Like my bag, I can't even fit all the rares and legendaries in it, so I ended up putting an S tier, but it's kind of it's kind of more like an A tier dungeon. And then we have like our A to B tier dungeons. If I don't have these keys, that means I'll run these keys. But if I have, like later on this season, I could be kind of picky with what Nightmare Dungeons I'm running. I could go to the Cultist and break stuff down and recraft stuff. I'll probably run some of these, but not all of them. So we have like Commodores, Palad, Akon, Tomes, and stuff like this. So another thing also, which is kind of weird, they actually Ironhold, which was one of the really juiced up normal dungeons. It's in the Nightmare Dungeon rotation, but Blizzard stealth nerfed the elite density of this dungeon. So this would have been an S tier dungeon, but Blizzard, for whatever reason, actually nerfed the density of the dungeon. It's unfortunately, it's still good, but it's not as good as it used to be. Yeah, there used to be 1 to 3 super mega packs, and now there's just like not many at all. And then C to D tier dungeons, basically only run these if you can't craft. Yeah, if you can't craft sigils from the S tier, A to B tier region, kind of the last resort. And these F tier, just insta salvage these unless you got no more nightmare sigils at all and you're trying to sustain your base and you don't want to run Tree of Whispers. Then you could run these F tier dungeons, but they're actually really bad. All of our testing for all the new nightmare dungeons, I ran it on a Whirlwind Barbarian, a level 93 Whirlwind Barbarian, and we just ran like 35 plus nightmare dungeons for all of our testing. I didn't have a lot of time to do all the testing, right? I usually like to be like more thorough with the testing and get a lot more sample data instead of just 1 to 2 runs per dungeon. Yeah, that's basically what we did, right? I did 2 runs per dungeon. I got my clear speed right. I got my experience. I got my loot, looked at the layouts and stuff like that, looked at the mob types. Second run, optimized the route a little bit, made it a little better to get a better feel for it. But usually when I'm doing my testing, like last time I did like 5 runs per dungeon. So I wasn't able to be as thorough as I wanted to for getting all the data. Overall, I was pretty happy with the results. And honestly, the Nightmare Dungeon rotation this season is a lot better than the Nightmare Dungeon rotation last season. You have all these good dungeons like Alders and Sarat's Lair and Mercy's Reach and Deadman's Dredge and Hoarfrost. But anyways, that's basically it for the new Nightmare Dungeon tier list for the new set of dungeons for Season 1. There's a little infogram down below, and hopefully this helps you decide on what dungeons you like or whatever you want to run efficiently.